You made it to my channel, Niche Gaming. Today I'm going to show all the footage that I found, some of the tasks and important contest contracts that really showcase the usefulness of the GMC MH9500. Why I call it my early Michigan workhorse. This is obviously not the review. You can check that out in my actual review video of the GMC MH9500. But here, I'm just going to talk about the various different tasks. I start out with rescuing the Chevrolet Kodiak C70. The only thing, you don't have to use this truck. In fact, this is not even the best truck to do it with. You could probably, at this point, I didn't have all the upgrades for the Fleet Star, so I didn't take it out. I was able to get the upgrades for this much faster because, like I said, I'll get the all-wheel drive because of the new Game Plus settings. I make all the internal add-ons available. Just you have to buy the ones you don't find the upgrade to, and you find the upgrade for the race suspension, other stuff much faster for this one. So I could use it as my workhorse, and the Fleet Star is better for this, especially when you don't equip the loading crane, and it has a much better power to weight ratio. But it's not like this truck can't handle it. So all you really need is a truck with all-wheel drive, diff lock, has a typical heavy-duty power, or even medium-duty power would be enough. Heavy-duty power would help. All it needs is that basic power and, of course, all-wheel drive, diff lock, and the right tires. I mean, they don't even have to be the best tires. I use the all-chain tires, and they're not even the best for this. You should really use the UOD2, but unfortunately, I used the chain tires, and even that was more than enough. It does have to go into that heavy mud and be able to pull the truck out. Once you get the right tires, once you get the all-wheel drive, diff lock, you're done. And even comes with a more powerful engine, because that's where you find this GMC MH9500. More than enough to be able to pull this truck. And I had this trailer as well, the sideboard trailer, and wanted to bring it back. I think either to sell it or use it for another task. I was like, I'm not going to leave it there. Might as well take it back with me. You can attach the trailer, but you can't really attach the truck. The truck is totally damaged. Obviously, you're going to have to repair it once you bring it back to the garage. And you can check out my review of the Kodiak C70 in my other video. Now, this missing machinery task is one of the most difficult tasks for these early game trucks because they just don't have the superior body balance that you'll need to get this done easily. It can be done, but you have to have experience and be very careful about the terrain, watch the truck, what angle it's turning at, and just be super careful. Make sure you're not making the truck tip over. Look how uneven this land is. It's already tipping to the right. I try to get it a more stable, slightly more stable position, and remember, on top of that loading crane. Now, I did have the luxury of the tree there. Okay, sometimes the tree can help prevent you from tipping over, and sometimes you use the loading crane in a way to prevent you from tipping over. Or I deliberately took this from the left side. I swing it from the left side just to use some of the basic physics and common sense to try to prevent this truck from tipping over. But this area and where these drilling spare parts are located, where you have to pick them up, either use a medium duty truck, some other truck you can, to maybe move them in certain way. Maybe you can equip the loading crane with the Lodestar 1700 and come over here and try to pick this stuff and bring it back to a reasonable area so you don't have to take your big heavy trucks, because this is super difficult. And it's only because of experience, because I know about how uneven this land is and how many times I couldn't even do it with the Fleet Star. I just gave up. It's way too tipsy. And with the GMC MH9500, because it's more stable, this is where that stability is super useful and super helpful for your playthrough. Because one truck can be a little more powerful or better fuel consumption, but then it tips right over and then that's it, game over. And you need another truck to save it. And if you only have one heavy truck out, how are you going to get this one tipped over without recovering for a heavy amount of money? So this is super, super difficult. You have to be super careful about the angles you take for this truck. You could buy the Caterpillar CT681 and use it, but it was just so early in the game. And that's one of the reasons why I had enough money. I could have bought it, I think, just barely, or maybe not. It's just that one's expensive. It was like $75,000 plus all the upgrades. Ended up taking like more than $100,000 to get that truck. I was like, okay, I can do it with the GMC MH9500, probably because of how I have the experience. If you're careful, if you take the right angles, if you're super careful, you can do it with the GMC MH9500. I honestly wouldn't recommend it. Definitely not with the Fleet Star. Don't even try with the Fleet Star. Don't even bother. GMC MH9500 can do it. I've tipped over so many times in previous playthroughs. I just know the right angles to take. You just have to be super, super careful about what angles you take so that you don't let the truck tip over at any point while going on the uneven land, going left, right, up, down, using the loading crane. Be very careful with the loading crane. You have to be super, super careful. And again, it's the experience that got me through. In some areas, you kind of floor it a little bit. Take the right angle as you floor it. Go left as you need to, right as you need to. Go straight in, up, whatever you have to do to prevent yourself from tipping over, because there's so many different ways to tip over on this assignment. Another super uneven land all uphill, downhill, left hill, right hill. I mean, you just have to be careful about all your turns. And then again, I wouldn't even attempt this with the Fleet Star. It's just, this is the right early game truck to do it. Some of these you can do it. It's not the best truck for it. Even early game, I would still favor maybe the Caterpillar CT681. It's more stable than this truck. Or you don't get the white Western Star 4964 until later, and in the Smithville Dam map. And I like to get done with most of my assignments in one map as is possible. Again, super. Look how careful I'm being, so afraid of tipping over. Just take the perfect angles, and you can do it. Very skillful driving here, very important. Would be nice to have a better truck, but some parts just you got to push through. You can do it, and with some experience and some skillful driving, skillful crane loading, you can get this done. In all of the contests that I didn't make them unavailable, but I made them unavailable after the first attempt. In my New Game Plus rules, I did 3 times the payouts for all contracts, contests, tasks. One of the things that people used to do, because they always needed more money in hard mode or normal mode, they used to farm contests because it was unlimited amount of times in normal mode and 3 times available in hard mode. So in hard mode, you're always desperate for cash. You have so little of it. The way the hard mode is set up, hard mode is just too hard. So a lot of people, they couldn't find another way to make enough cash to do anything. So they used to farm contests and do them 3 times. I don't do any of that. Mine is permanently unavailable after the first attempt. So either you get gold or you don't. And it has to be done in the first attempt. So I know about the contest, I learn about it, make sure I can do it, practice it, even maybe with a scout truck and understand exactly what I need to do, and then actually do it. And obviously all of these, I either already know what to do because I've done it before, or I set the waypoints on the map so I know exactly where to go step by step throughout, especially later in Smithville Dam, some of the contests that I did, let's say with the White Western Star 4964, that contest had to be done with waypoints because it's in a first-person view. Some contests require you to be in first-person view to use them to complete the contest. Anyway, they all have timings, and once you cross the timing limit threshold, you lose gold and you end up getting silver. So if you take too long with certain contests, if you change trucks, you lose the contest right away. And since I set the setting so it can't be farmed, you can only get gold trophy 1 attempt. If you fail it, then you lose whatever money you would get from the contest. There's no way to redo it. And that way I make sure I do all the proper planning. And like I said, just can't farm the contest for all that extra money. I make up for that by making all my contest tasks and contracts 3 times the amount of payout, because I felt that the money that they give for the contests and tasks and everything just aren't suitable, especially for the hard mode. So I try to make a good balance of the normal and hard mode. But you can check all that detail out in my new game plus settings. Pinewood Express can be a little challenging if you don't know where to go first or how to do it in order. But again, if you have some practice or if you have an idea of how the terrain is and how long it's going to take, especially fully loaded, you can try many different things. Like for example, I did take the trailer with me, attaching the trailer fully loaded. But you didn't have to take the trailer when you took it to the drilling site. You could take the drilling site too and then just come back and attach that trailer and bring it here. So yeah, there were better ways. Maybe I did it, but it was enough. We could take the power. It was just more to take there because you didn't need to take all 4 wooden planks there. And not the ideal perfect way to do it, but still good enough and still made the gold. When you scout, one of the best things to do is obviously scout and make sure you know where all the trailers are that already have materials in them. So this one already had the 2 service spare parts, so you plan accordingly. And so I already knew where those service spare parts were. I didn't have any other use for them besides this work for old sweat assignment. And I needed 1 concrete slab. Yeah, I could have brought the service spare parts first, then gone and grabbed the concrete slab, but sometimes having materials does help the stability of the truck, sometimes it doesn't. But here, this is again one of those, if you're going to go down in the quarry with this truck, GMC MH9500, you just have to be super careful, especially when you drop down into the quarry. It's super uneven land and you just have to be very careful. You can do it, but make sure you take the exact perfect turns. But again, very easy to tip over if you're not careful. Look at that. He just wanted to tip right over to the right there, and then to the left, and then again to the right. Very uneven land in the quarry, so you just have to be super, super careful about the angles that you take and make sure you don't tip over. But the GMC MH9500 can do it. As long as you're intelligent about the way you take the turns, it can be your workhorse. You just have to know how to use the truck and know about its limitations. Every truck has its body balance limitations. Let's say for logging is one of those things that's really, really tipsy, makes it even more tipsy, so you want to make sure you use your most stable trucks. So even with, let's say, White Western Star 4964 is more stable than this truck, but it's not as stable as the Pacific P16 or P12, so those are the ones that are better used for logging. I wouldn't use the way I've tried. So every truck will have its limitations for body balance. And you can push this right to the edge of its limitations, as long as you know. Again, all of this stuff that's so close, even with this truck, to tip over, imagine what would happen with the Fleet Star. Fleet Star would just make it unplayable. That's why this was my workhorse. And this is our last task. I just wanted to show with this truck the usefulness, the advantage of having this. There's a lot of trucks that can do it, but there are limitations on many trucks. They're crane plus flatbed versus sideboard bed, external add-on, and then add a trailer, either 2-slot or 4-slot. Sideboard trailer that you can attach, or even a 4-slot trailer, a ramp trailer, whatever. I mean, it can handle it. It makes it so independent. It completes all your tasks, and you just keep going, keep pushing. And that is the GMC MH9500. My early game Michigan workhorse. Hope you enjoyed my video. If you haven't already, give me a like, share, subscribe. Thanks for watching.